Hello, it's me, my friend Steve. We just got out of seeing James Wan's newest horror movie, and by God Almighty, does it take a turn. This is called Malignant. Honestly, the less you say about it, the better it is kind of going into this thing, because like the way the trailer's kind of set up, it's very kind of misleading about what this movie really is. I mean, there's definitely a lot of inspiration from like a lot of old giallo like horror films, like Italian ones like Suspiria and that, with the way it's kind of shot. The music is great. It definitely reminiscent of a lot of those Dario Argento horror type films. I am shocked that a mainstream studio like released a movie like this, because my God, the third act, the way it takes a turn, it's both like really funny, but it's also like really, oh my God, it gets so graphically violent at the end of this thing that I was shocked just sitting in the theater watching this. Like, oh my God, like how is that? But it becomes fucking awesome in the third act.
It you know, it's one of those movies where it's kind of a slow build up. You know, some cool scenes here and there,
and then it just
and then just once that third act starts, it's just like
it completely flips into like
complete flip flop, all gas, like no breaks until the end of the movie, and that was
like, I mean, man, how do we get into this thing without spoilers? I guess we'll keep it as vague as possible, but it stars Annabelle Wallis and then a bunch of actors who I'm not really familiar with. But James Wan is back doing a horror film. The last thing he did was Conjuring 2, which is my favorite
for
in
horror.
The Conjuring universe. Yeah, I mean, he produces a lot of stuff. He does like story, but the last movie he's directed in terms of horror, because James Wan, he loves his horror stuff, obviously. Like, that's where he got his start. And I think he made this, I think I was listening to an interview like where he was talking about how he just wanted to give back to like horror fans, and he takes a graphic turn with this thing, because there really wasn't much advertising for this movie. I didn't see like next to nothing, but I think this movie is going to have strong word of mouth because of how just crazy of a turn this thing takes.
It'll be one of those cult classics, I think, in like 10, 15 years.
Yeah, it definitely do that. But it's also simultaneously on HBO Max, so I think it'll probably become a popular title on there, because it's the whole same day release thing. Because I saw this, because 2 weeks ago I saw Candyman. I like this one a lot more than Candyman, because like this one, I was just left kind of pondering like, hey, what is going on with this movie? Like, I had ideas about things, but the messed up reveal is something like, what the... And like, it's both horrifying, but also really, really funny.
Yeah, I thought it was more just completely messed up than funny.
I just started laughing because when I saw what it was, I'm kind of like, this movie is actually like, I feel like some of it's like intentionally goofy.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Like, there's a scene where one of these detectives is chasing down the killer, and then he just decides, I'm just gonna fall off like a 2-story building and like just land like I'm a pro wrestler, like, and just like smack onto like what is it, like a dumpster or whatever, and like he falls like 2 stories, like, I can't believe I'm doing this. Just smack him.
I'm trying to like think of like what I would compare this movie to, like, for other movies, because it's like it has that horror feel to it, but like you said, that also like not corny, but like not serious moments.
Right. It's maybe some
with the psychological twists and shit.
I feel like it's kind of a Sam Raimi touch to it in some ways. Yeah. Like that. Where Sam Raimi, like, even with his horror movies, he always adds a comedic touch to them.
Right.
Like intentional or unintentional. Like, there's that comedic touch kind of thrown into this movie. Like, because that's even all of James Wan's movies, even like his Conjuring films, have a bit of like humor in him. Insidious has it too, because he knows to make something kind of fun. This is, I mean, the third act, I think we were just in the theater, we were watching while it was unfolding, like, what the fuck? Yeah. Like, oh, holy shit.
Yeah, it was very, very enjoyable, though. I very much liked it. Shot beautifully. Of course, James Wan always shoots his movies beautifully. Right.
I mean, he's a very versatile filmmaker, and I was really excited to see him come back to make another horror film. This is not like Saw. This is not like Insidious or The Conjuring. This takes a wholly different turn. It's not really all that like scary in terms of like the genuine scares like you get with like a Conjuring film. It's more of a Well, it doesn't quite reach the scary levels in that, like, that I was expecting, but it's more of like an engaging mystery of what's kind of happening.
Yeah.
Like, some of it's like, you're just kind of like, you get the concept and like, this just seems
horror,
really...
mystery, action.
Yeah.
Fucking...
I was surprised it takes a really drastic action turn, and that's all I'll say about that until we get into kind of spoilers here. But I guess we're so vague about this movie because we really don't want to give any of it away. So if you've seen the movie, stick around from this point onward. If you haven't, watch it. It's in theaters and it's on HBO Max, so you don't really have to go anywhere. If you have HBO Max and you don't feel like going to theaters to pay the extra money, because I mean, we wanted to see it because we wanted to see a James Wan horror movie in theaters again, because it's been 5 years. Because he was off doing Aquaman, but now he's going to do Aquaman 2. He never does 3 in this series. So with this one, honestly, I'm fine with it kind of ending where it is. But like, it's just one of those like, what the hell just happened kind of things. So I have a lot of questions about how things kind of work in this. But go check it out. I recommend it. You recommend it too?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'd say 4 out of 5 stars.
That's a solid rating, especially for the third act change. So
definitely, I
guess it's about to hit the 6-minute mark and spoiler section. Okay, so now we're in the spoilers. We got to talk about this movie really quickly. So the whole thing is the main character. She has a Siamese deformed twin. You know what it reminds me of? What's that movie? Basket Case. That's it. Basket Case. That's what it kind of makes me think of. But it somehow gives her enhanced strength ability.
I forgot what they called it in the movie, but yeah, it's like a
really disturbing Siamese
conjoined twin.
Conjoined twins. That's
from
right.
the back of her head.
Yeah, and I'm like, man, you just gotta get that thing looked at. And then all of a sudden it's like, I'm like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, because throughout the movies, the back of her head's bleeding and shit. And
I'm like, go to a fucking hospital, lady.
Yeah.
But then, like, kind of now I'm thinking, oh wait, now I understand why it's not going, because he's contorting with her reality and all that. Because I was questioning it, and then her getting pushed is what kind of caused the whole thing. How does its electrical control powers work? Like, I think they kind of explained it briefly at the beginning of the movie, but like, it was kind of a really weird.
Yeah, that's something that I was kind of questioning too. But yeah, they probably mentioned something in the beginning, or mentioned some sort of small detail that he taps into waves or some shit throughout the brain.
Right,
I'm not really sure.
Right, it got really kind of bizarre and strange how it got that. And then, like, all of a sudden he has extremely enhanced strength. However this whole, like, twins thing works, like, this fucking, doing, parkour,
he was,
crazy.
Feeding off of, her fetuses, because she has, she's had, miscarriages, I think 3 or 4 or something, and I guess he feeds off of the fetuses to gain the strength. That's, I think, something that they mentioned at the end, but...
It's such a really crazy concept. I mean, just saying that out loud, on paper, this is one of the most... It's a really ridiculous thing, too. At first, the one lady, escapes from, being trapped up in the whole attic, and then the reveal that was in her house the whole time.
I was not expecting that.
No, I was expecting... She falls to the floor, and then they all just stare and look like, it's been in the fucking house the whole time. Because I was thinking, okay, so... My theory kind of going in as it was going on, okay, so there must be a split personality type thing with that.
Right,
but
yeah, that's kind of where I was leaning towards too.
I'm like, I didn't expect and then she called it the devil. I'm like, okay, it's got to have a supernatural thing, but is it really supernatural? It's kind of one of those questionable things where I'm just kind of like, maybe not.
No, I wouldn't say supernatural, no.
Yeah, it's some weird... I don't know. It's kind of a crazy setup how it all kind of comes together like that. So I guess they have their scientific explanation for it all. So it almost tricks you into thinking it's kind of supernatural, or I don't know, something with that crazy amount of abilities and the stuff that it's doing there. It seems kind of almost supernatural to me. It's definitely not but then again, I don't know. It's a really bizarre the way it's done. But then her other half. Gabriel is a parkour expert. I'm I guess he's the final act in this movie has some of the most graphically violent kills I think I've seen in a movie in years. It gets so extreme. I wasn't expecting it to turn into this crazy action movie. It just all of a sudden it's okay, we're gonna make this an action movie. I'm gonna make this the most violent, fucked up thing.
There's a scene when she was killing all the cops in the precinct where it was shot just like the Kingsman movies. One shot going and then kill, back, boom, back.
Yeah,
that was so I was like, what is this? This is an action movie now. This is great.
Oh yeah, bones are getting snapped. At first, it's like she starts to make the change when she's in the prison cell, and you have the one female prisoner, or whatever. She's pushing everybody in the way, and then everybody. It was like how many people died in this thing? At least close to 100 people get murdered in like the final part of this movie. It's so extreme.
I'd be interested to see a body count versus broken bone count, and they're probably pretty close to each other.
Right. I mean, a lot of people die horrifically in this movie. It's kind of insane how much like death there is in this thing, and the parkour abilities, like how it's all kind of done, like just contorting the body and stuff. I'm like, what is this?
It was
almost done like it was. I thought like
done really well. I thought
when the whole conjoined twin thing was gonna happen, I thought like her body was gonna flip around, kind of.
Yeah, right.
But like it was like the joints kind of stayed the same. It was just kind of doing everything backwards,
which like makes sense because like his hair was always like kind of leaning forward. Mm-hmm. So like it makes sense, like I guess, but.
It's so bizarre the way it's done. I'm curious to kind of check this thing out again, just to kind of like point out all like the things that are kind of off with it, and just kind of looking at the clues in that, because like there was like it's kind of slow early on, and maybe just because of lack of sleep, I was kind of just getting like really relaxed, just kind of watching the movie, just kind of immersing myself.
It was a cozy seat we were in. We were
right. I was
all the way back.
Oh, I know. I was just going like this. I'm like, wake up, man. Like, see, that's the thing. Like, if I'm sitting still, like, and I get in a chair and I get really comfy, I just zone out because I don't really sleep.
Fair.
I don't really sleep much. It's not the fault of the movie. I'm just like, come on, just kind of. And then like once the action hits, you're just like, the energy is just there. I don't know. Sometimes you just get really comfy in like a seat, because I think it's really comfy seats. I was reclining. I was like,
very comfy,
very comfy. And then just watching the movie, I was just getting really relaxed, and like because the score by like Joseph Bashara.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah, he did the music for like The Conjuring. He did Insidious. And he's really talented like horror composer. I think he even did like one of the tracks in Aquaman, like when they go into the trench portion there. Yeah, so this doesn't quite have the scare factor of an Insidious or the Conjuring movies, because I thought those films crafted their scares a little better. But this one, in terms of the fucked up meter, it's
a different kind of horror,
right? Like, I mean, because James Wan's done a lot. Like he did Saw, he did Dead Silence. Was it Death Sentence? Is that? I haven't seen that one. I think it's that and Dead Silence are the only two I haven't seen that he's made. But like this one's not all about like the whole jump scare thing. It takes a wholly different approach to it. I mean, there's some bits where they try and craft scary sequences.
It's more in the first half of the movie is when like the scary at night scenes.
Right. There's some impressive camera work. Like there's one shot that looks like it's turning into Legend of Zelda. Yeah, I'm like, is this Legend of Zelda?
Over the head shot.
Yeah, the over the head shot, like
the fan view of like going throughout the house and shit was cool.
Yeah. How does the thing go?
Yeah,
I want to add I want to do a remix of that scene, just kind of add that little music all over it. But yeah, it just gets really kind of crazy, and just the death scenes at the end, like she kills like every prisoner that's like in the holding cell. It's like 30 people, and then all these cops in the precinct station. Like this, Gabriel apparently has like intense super strength for whatever reason. It's never fully explained how he has like super strength, unless it's kind of like a throwaway line. I don't know. Like you just kind of have to like just embrace the ridiculousness of this thing, because it kind of becomes almost like an 80s like goofy like horror film in some ways. Like I was laughing quite a bit at some bits. Like when the violence got so extreme, I just found myself like going, oh, and then just laughing immediately afterwards. Like, this is what the hell happened? Like I love when movies take such a drastic turn. Sometimes you have to question like, how do we get here? How do we get to this point? Like it started out one way, and then like now we're at this point where this contorted like killer is just gutting people like fucking crazy. Like I mean, Halloween Kills is coming out next month, and this is what I expected Halloween Kills to be.
Yeah,
like
right.
The third act of this thing.
Slasher, murders, and everything.
This movie took that, but just like made it like almost like a crazy kung fu martial arts type movie with the crazy like moving around and shit.
But I respect that though, because like if James Wan made another movie like The Conjuring and Insidious, if that was what this movie was going to be like, sure, it would have been great. But like, I appreciate trying to do different things, having James Wan do it. I think is
Yeah,
the man to direct this kind of movie. Personally,
Right? Yeah, because he every time he makes a horror film, I'm there to watch it. So
yeah,
he
insane camera work as usual, and
yeah, very
just
creative,
a very enjoyable movie.
I am just like, basically this felt like I think I saw somebody talk about this before. Basically, after he made Aquaman, which was I think Warner Brothers' biggest movie of all time, they just basically are just like, he basically was, somebody I think I saw online was like, it's like he was given like dad's credit card to just do whatever he wanted, like on a spending spree. He's like, I'm gonna make the most he was basically given a free pass to do whatever he wanted, and that was basically this thing. It's an original IP. Thank goodness. I think he actually has a graphic novel called *Malignant*, but I don't think that's based on this concept of the movie. I think it's something different. Just
I know the story was, or he was part of the story, or like making the story for it. So.
Right, he didn't write the script per se when he came up with the story.
Yeah, so maybe some sort of elements from there, but.
Yep, I mean James Wan loves his horror stuff, and he made something pretty out there with this one. I think it's a pretty good time. So, yeah, I think that's all I have to say. You got anything to plug?
No, just go see the movie. Theaters are open again. Go support your theaters. It's obviously easier to just sit at home and watch HBO Max and everything. But
some movies you want to see,
you can't get the same experience from HBO Max unless you own like a theater in your house or something with surround sound. But go support the theaters.
Exactly. So, all right. Well, that's all I got to say about that one. Thanks for joining me, sir. I really appreciate it.
Always.
We'll be back for Halloween Kills, because we will do another big review like we did for the last one, because those are the ones, like, we'll probably do like an after vlog, and then we'll just make a more extreme kind of review of it all, because that's what we do.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Figure it out.
Yeah, it'll be fun to do. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care now. Bye-bye then, and we'll see you all in the next video. Peace.